Imagine a curtain of water, a mile wide, crashing down over 100 meters into a chasm, sending a plume of mist so high it can be seen from 50 kilometers away. For centuries, this has been the sight that greeted the Tonga and Lozi people of southern Africa. But to them, this was no ordinary waterfall. It was a doorway to the spirit world. Long before David Livingstone named them Victoria Falls, they were known as Mosi-oa-Tunya, the smoke that thunders Nas. This name isn't just a description, it's a reflection of deep spiritual belief. The thunder was the voice of the divine, and the smoke, that ever-present mist, was its sacred breath. According to Tonga mythology, the churning waters of the gorge below were home to powerful river spirits. The most revered of these was Nyami, the Zambezi River god. This deity, often depicted as a serpent-like creature, was believed to be the guardian of the river and all its life. The Tonga people believed Nyami provided them with sustenance from the river, and they lived in harmony with its flow. Disturbing the river, they believed, would anger Nyami, bringing floods or drought as punishment. The thundering falls were a constant, humbling reminder of his immense power and presence. The area around Mosi-oa-Tunya was considered sacred ground. It wasn't a place for casual visits, but for profound spiritual connection. Elders and spiritual leaders would approach the falls to perform sacred ceremonies, especially during times of drought or hardship. They would stand at the edge of the chasm, looking into the smoke, and offer prayers and gifts. They believed the mist, rising high into the sky, was a sacred vessel. It carried their messages, their hopes, and their pleas directly to the realm of their ancestors. Imagine the scene. The ground trembling from the force of the water, the air thick with moisture, and the sound so overwhelming it silences all else. In this powerful atmosphere, they felt a direct line to the spirit world. It was a place where the physical and the metaphysical worlds converged. Each part of the falls had its own significance. The various cataracts and islands dotting the edge were seen as abodes for lesser spirits. The rainbows that constantly dance in the mist were not just a scientific phenomenon of light refracting through water droplets. They were seen as divine bridges, pathways for the spirits to travel between the heavens and the earth. To witness a full lunar rainbow, a rare event that occurs on a full moon, was considered an incredibly potent omen, a sign that the spirit world was open and listening. This spiritual connection profoundly shaped the local culture. Life revolved around the river and the falls, the agricultural calendar, the fishing seasons. Social ceremonies all were intrinsically linked to the rhythms of the Zambezi and the spiritual power of Mosi-oa. The stories of the spirits and the ancestors were passed down through generations, not as simple folklore, but as a living history, a guide for how to live in balance with nature. These oral traditions taught respect for the environment, emphasizing that the river, the land, and the people were all part of one interconnected system, overseen by the spirits of the falls. Even the construction of the Kariba Dam upstream in the 1950s was interpreted through this spiritual lens. When ecological disasters and unforeseen construction problems plagued the project, many local Tonga people believed it was Nyami, angered and separated from his wife, who was said to reside downstream. They believed the river god was trying to break through the dam to reunite with his love, causing the ground to tremble. This story illustrates just how deeply ingrained these beliefs were, providing a spiritual explanation for modern events. So, as we look at the breathtaking beauty of Mosi-oa-Tunya today, it's worth remembering that for thousands of years, it was more than just a spectacular natural wonder. It was a cathedral, a temple, a place of immense spiritual power. It was the center of a universe where the roar of the water was the voice of God, and the mist was a stairway to the heavens. It wasn't just the smoke that thunders, it was the very heartbeat of a people and their connection to the divine. This deep, ancient spirituality is the unseen current that still flows beneath the surface of one of the world's most magnificent waterfalls. Long before it was mapped, long before it had a name, the waterfall spoke with thunder, a voice the world could hear for miles. Victoria Falls. Our story begins not with water, but with fire. About 180 million years ago, the supercontinent Gondwana began to tear itself apart. As tectonic plates groaned and shifted, the Earth's crust cracked open, unleashing unimaginable volumes of molten basalt lava. For millions of years, layer upon layer of this dark, dense rock spread across what is now southern Africa, creating a vast, flat plateau that stretched for hundreds of kilometers. This was the foundation, the stone canvas upon which a masterpiece would be carved. As the volcanic fury subsided, a new force began to shape the landscape: water. The mighty Zambezi River started its long, winding journey across this new plateau. For millennia it flowed, a powerful but patient artist, searching for a weakness in the stone. The basalt, though hard, wasn't perfect. Acid couled, it formed a network of cracks and fissures, lines of vulnerability running east to west. The relentless current of the Zambezi found these faults. Water, carrying sand and grit, acted like liquid sandpaper, slowly, persistently grinding away at the rock. A tiny crack became a channel became a trench, and over 150 million years of tireless erosion, the river carved the first great chasm. This was the birth of the Batoka Gorge. The river didn't just flow over the edge, it clawed its way down, exploiting every weakness, digging deeper and deeper into the heart of the basalt. Imagine the scene: a river, wide and placid, suddenly vanishing into a crack in the earth, only to reappear as a churning, furious torrent, carving a zigzagging canyon below. This process wasn't a one-time event. The waterfall we see today is just the latest in a series of at least 7 previous falls. As the river erodes one fissure to create a waterfall, it simultaneously begins work on the next line of weakness upstream. Over eons, the falls have been slowly migrating, leaving a trail of dramatic gorges in their wake, a geological footprint of their journey through time. Each gorge represents a former location of the waterfall, a testament to the Zambezi's unstoppable power. And then comes the moment of creation, the spectacle we know today. A continuous curtain of water, nearly 2 kilometers wide, plunges over 100 meters into the abyss. The sheer volume is staggering during the rainy season. Over 10 million liters of water plummet every single second. This colossal impact sends a plume of mist soaring up to 400 meters into the sky, a cloud so vast it can be seen from 50 kilometers away. This is the smoke that gives the falls their indigenous name. It creates a unique ecosystem, a miniature rainforest that thrives year-round from the constant spray, a vibrant green jewel in the heart of the savanna. The sound is not just a roar, it's a physical presence, a deep, resonant vibration you feel in your bones long before you see the source. The story of Victoria Falls is more than just geology. It's a story of life. For thousands of years, this place has been sacred, a site of reverence and awe for the people who have lived alongside it. Ancient artifacts found nearby suggest human presence dating back millions of years, our earliest ancestors drawn to the life-giving river. For the Tonga and Lozi people, the falls are a living entity, a connection to the spiritual world. It was a place for ceremonies, a source of legends, and the home of the river spirit. Nyami, before David, Livingstone became the first European to witness the falls in 1855 and named him after his queen. This thundering wonder was already a deeply woven part of human history and culture, its story told not in maps, but in myths and oral traditions, passed down through generations. Livingstone famously wrote, "Scenes so lovely must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight." It's a sentiment that still rings true. The sheer scale is almost impossible to comprehend. When you stand at the edge, you're not just looking at a waterfall. You're witnessing the raw, untamed power of nature in action. You're seeing 150 million years of geological history unfolding before your eyes. The dance between rock and water is a perpetual ballet of creation and destruction. The basalt provides the stage, and the Zambezi is the star performer, forever shaping and reshaping its world. As the sun sets over the Zambezi, it paints the mist in hues of orange and gold, a daily spectacle that feels both ancient and new. This isn't a static monument, it's a living, breathing system. The erosion continues. The river is even now working on the next fault line upstream, slowly preparing for the day, thousands of years from now, when the falls will once again retreat, leaving behind a new gorge as a scar of its passage. To visit Victoria Falls is to be humbled. to feel a profound connection to the immense timescales of our planet and the relentless forces that have sculpted it. For centuries, a giant stood hidden deep within the heart of Africa, its thunderous roar unheard by the wider world. Imagine a map of the continent in the early 1800s, vast swaths of it labeled simply unexplored territory. It was a world of myth and legend, where tales of immense cataracts and smoke that thunders were whispered among local tribes, but remained just that story. The world had no idea a wonder of this magnitude existed until one man, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a sense of divine purpose, followed the mighty Zambezi River into the unknown. That man was David Livingstone, a Scottish missionary and physician. Livingstone was no ordinary explorer. He wasn't searching for gold or conquest. He was driven by a complex mix of abolitionist zeal, scientific curiosity, and a desire to open up Africa to what he saw as the civilizing influences of commerce and Christianity. By 1855, he had already spent years traversing the continent, mapping vast areas and documenting the cultures he encountered. His journey down the Zambezi was the culmination of this epic endeavor. Let's picture the scene. It's November 1855. Livingstone and his party, made up of local Makelolo guides, have been paddling down the Zambezi for weeks. The river is wide, placid, dotted with lush, green islands teeming with wildlife. Hippos grunt in the shallows. Elephants drink at the water's edge. But as they travel further downstream, a strange sound begins to permeate the air. At first, it's a low, distant hum, a vibration felt more than heard. Day by day, it grows louder, a constant, deep-throated roar that seems to emanate from the very earth itself. His guides knew what lay ahead. They called it Mosi-oa-Tunya. The smoke that thunders. They spoke of it with a mixture of awe and fear. For them, it was a sacred, powerful place. As the expedition drew closer, another phenomenon appeared. Plumes of what looked like white smoke rose high into the sky, visible from miles away, billowing and shifting in the breeze as if from a series of colossal grass fires. But this was no smoke. It was the spray, the very breath of the waterfall, thrown hundreds of feet into the air by the sheer force of the falling water. Livingstone was intrigued, his explorer's heart pounding with anticipation. He had to see it. The main party was hesitant to approach the edge, their cultural reverence holding them back. So, Livingstone boarded a smaller, lighter canoe with a few of his bravest men. They carefully navigated the increasingly swift current, weaving between islands, the roar now deafening. They landed on the largest island, situated right on the lip of the chasm, an island we now call Livingstone Island. The ground beneath their feet trembled. Led by his guides, he crept cautiously to the eastern edge of the island. Through the thick, swirling mist and dense vegetation, he peered over the brink. And in that moment, the world changed for David Livingstone. Before him, the entire Zambezi River, over a mile wide, simply vanished into a colossal crack in the earth. A chasm of unimaginable depth and scale, sending a wall of water plummeting down into a boiling abyss. The sound was overwhelming, a physical force that shook his entire body. The spray was so intense it felt like a perpetual downpour, drenching him instantly. He later described the scene in his journal, struggling to find words to capture the sheer majesty of it. He wrote, "Creeping with AOD. To the verge I peered down into a large rent, which had been made from bank to bank of the broad Zambezi, and saw a stream of 1,000 yards broad, leap down 100 feet, and then become suddenly compressed into a space of 15 or 20 yards. He was witnessing something that no European had ever documented. To get a better view, he made his way to a sliver of rock on the mainland, a narrow promontory that jutted out directly opposite the main cascade. Today, we call it the Knife Edge Bridge. Imagine standing there with him. No safety rails, no paved paths, just a slippery, narrow ridge of rock, with a sheer drop on either side. The wind and spray are relentless. He lies down on his stomach, inching his way to the edge to peer into the cauldron below. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated discovery. He described the view as the most wonderful sight he had witnessed in Africa. In his writings, Livingstone painted a vivid picture for a world that could barely comprehend such a wonder. He compared the columns of vapor to the smoke from a score of steam engines. He noted how these columns would rise, condense, and fall in a constant, heavy shower, nourishing a rainforest ecosystem on the cliff edges, a world of ever-wet, emerald green foliage. He was a scientist as much as an explorer, meticulously measuring, observing, and recording everything he saw. And then came the question of a name. He was deeply aware of the local name, Mosi-oa-Tunya, and he recorded it faithfully. But in the tradition of European explorers of his era, and out of a deep sense of patriotism and loyalty to his monarch, he decided to name it after the Queen of England. He wrote, "Being the first European to see these mighty falls, I shall name them the Victoria Falls in honor of Her Majesty." He felt that a sight so beautiful must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight, and it was only fitting to bestow upon it the name of his queen. When Livingstone's journals and letters finally made their way back to England, they caused a sensation. The Royal Geographical Society was electrified. The public was captivated. Illustrated newspapers published dramatic, and often wildly inaccurate, engravings based on his descriptions. The idea of a waterfall a mile wide and twice the height of Niagara, hidden in a dark continent, fired the global imagination. It was the 19th century equivalent of discovering a new planet. His accounts put Victoria Falls on the world map, quite literally. Cartographers who had once drawn a blank space or a tentative wavy line for the Zambezi's middle course could now anchor their maps with this monumental feature. It became a point of reference, a known entity in a vast unknown. The discovery sparked a new wave of interest in the region, drawing other explorers, missionaries, hunters, and eventually, settlers. It's crucial to remember, of course, that Livingstone didn't discover the falls in the true sense. People had lived in its presence for millennia. The Tonga, Makelolo, and other peoples of the region had long established cultures, beliefs, and traditions woven around the powerful spirit of Mosi-oa-Tunya. For them, it was the center of their world. Livingstone's arrival was not a discovery, but an introduction the moment this sacred African wonder was introduced to the outside world, sparking a chain of events that would forever change its destiny and the story of the continent itself. His journey opened a door, and through that door, the world rushed in. The age of isolated splendor for Mosi-oa-Tunya was over. A new chapter, one of global fascination, scientific study, and burgeoning tourism, was about to begin. The lone explorer, peering over the edge of a trembling cliff, had connected this force of nature to the rest of humanity, and the thunder of the Zambezi would now echo across the globe. From above, the earth opens up like a broken scarce of parallel gorges carved by a single, relentless waterfall. This is the Batoka Gorge system, a geological masterpiece sculpted by the Zambezi River over hundreds of thousands of years. But how can one waterfall create 7 distinct canyons? The answer lies in the rock beneath our feet. The landscape here is made of basalt, a hard volcanic rock, but running through it are weaker zones, filled with softer sandstone. Think of them as fault lines, cracks in the Earth's armor. For millennia, the mighty Victoria Falls, or Mosi-oa-Tunya, the smoke that thunders, has been on a slow, backward march. As the water cascades with immense force, it erodes the soft rock at its base, creating a deep plunge pool. Over thousands of years, this erosion undermines the harder basalt caprock above. Eventually, the overhang collapses, and the waterfall retreats upstream, carving out a new gorge. When the river hits the next band of soft rock, the process begins again, but this time it chooses its way east or west along the fault line. This is why the gorges zigzag. Each gorge represents a past position of the waterfall. We can trace its journey through time just by looking at the landscape. The first gorge, right below the current falls, is the youngest. As we move downstream, we travel back in time, seeing the ghost of the waterfall in each successive canyon. Drone shots reveal this incredible pattern, a natural staircase etched into the continent. It's a slow-motion geological drama, with the waterfall as the star performer, constantly reshaping its own stage. Sunlight cuts across these deep canyon walls, highlighting layers of rock that tell a story 100,000 years in the making. It's not that the falls are moving, but rather, the river is relentlessly carving its way back, leaving behind this breathtaking zigzag signature. This process continues today. The current waterfall is already working on its next masterpiece, eroding the soft rock at a spot known as the Devil's Cataract on the western edge. In another 10,000 years or so, a new gorge will begin to form there, and the waterfall will have shifted once again. It's a powerful reminder that the Earth is not static. It's a living, breathing entity, constantly changing, with forces like the Zambezi River acting as its sculptors. Now, let's shift our perspective from geology to history. A river that became a boundary, and a waterfall that shaped the modern map of Africa. The Zambezi doesn't just separate land. For much of its course, it separates nations. The colonial scrambles of the 19th century drew lines on maps, often using natural features like rivers as convenient. Here, the Zambezi became the border between what was then northern and southern Rhodesia, now Zambia and Zimbabwe. The falls themselves were split between two colonial powers. This division created a new kind of challenge and opportunity. To connect these territories and push a railway from the Cape to Cairo, a monumental piece of engineering was required. Entered the Victoria Falls Bridge. Construction began in 1904, a daring project to span the second gorge just downstream from the falls. Historical footage shows the sheer audacity of it. Steel girders fabricated in England were shipped thousands of miles, and then painstakingly assembled over this dizzying chasm, with the constant roar and spray of the falls as a backdrop. When it was completed in 1905, it was an engineering marvel, a symbol of industrial power imposed upon a wild landscape. Drone shots sweeping under its elegant arch reveal the incredible contrast. The rigid, man-made steel against the raw, chaotic power of the gorge below. This bridge didn't just carry trains, it carried ambitions, connecting economies, and solidifying the new political geography. The arrival of the railway also brought something else: tourism. Early photographers flocked to the falls, their bulky equipment capturing some of the first images of this natural wonder for the outside world. These black and white photos and archival films document a moment in time when the world was shrinking, when a place of immense spiritual significance to local peoples was being rebranded as a global spectacle. The falls became a destination, a point on a map defined by its accessibility. The bridge, the railway, the borders, they all converged here, turning a geological phenomenon into a geopolitical nexus. The story of Victoria Falls is written not just in rock, but in the very lines that define the world we see today. This isn't the work of human hands or machinery. This is nature's engineering, raw and relentless. The colossal waterfall that stands as a testament to time and power. We'll explore the science behind this masterpiece, from the thunderous hydrology that fuels it to the slow, patient process of erosion that has carved a canyon through solid rock. So, how much water are we actually talking about? It's a question that reveals the dual personality of this natural wonder. During the dry season, from about September to December, the river's flow is a mere shadow of its full potential. The falls might even break up into several smaller, separate streams, revealing vast expanses of the basalt cliff face. The water volume might drop to around 350 cubic meters per second. To put that in perspective, that's still enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in about 7 seconds. It's a time when you can truly appreciate the sheer scale of the rock formations, the intricate patterns etched into the stone over millennia. But then, the rains come. From February to May, the river transforms. The water volume swells to an almost unimaginable degree, peaking at over 9,000 cubic meters per second. That's more than 25 times the flow of the dry season. The separate streams merge into a single, unbroken curtain of water stretching over a kilometer wide. The roar is deafening, and a plume of mist rises so high it can be seen from miles away, creating its own microclimate of constant rain. It has this staggering difference between the dry and flood seasons that truly defines the river-esque character and its immense power to shape the landscape. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down a sheer drop of 108 meters. That's the height of a 35-story building. Now, imagine a river plunging over that edge. This isn't just any cliff. Between the heart of aerial footage reveals this story with stunning clarity. You can trace the path of the river back in time, seeing where the falls stood thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. The erosion isn't happening uniformly. The river exploits these softer rock layers, carving them out more quickly and causing the waterfall's position to shift laterally as well as upstream. This has created the dramatic, angular pattern we see today. It's a slow-motion dance between water and rock, a process that has been unfolding for eons and will continue for eons to come. What we are witnessing is the fundamental principle of erosion, magnified to an epic scale. It starts with a single drop of water. Multiply that by trillions, give it a 108-meter drop, and you have a force capable of moving mountains, or in T-scales carving a canyon through them. The constant spray and mist also play a role, contributing to chemical weathering that weakens the rock face over time. But the primary driver is the physical force, the hydraulic action of the water itself. It pries open cracks, carries away debris, and grinds away at the very foundation of the cliff. It's a powerful reminder that the Earth is not a static object, but a dynamic, ever-changing system. The landscapes we see as permanent are, on a geological timescale, fleeting moments in a long and dramatic story. This waterfall, in all its thundering glory, isn't just a landmark. It's a living, breathing engine of creation and destruction, sculpting the world before our very eyes. Every second, every drop of water contributes to this grand design. Where thunder meets stone, life evolves differently. In the heart of this roaring chaos, a world of incredible resilience thrives, a testament to nature's ability to adapt to even the most extreme conditions. This isn't just a place of raw power, it's a cradle of unique life, sculpted and sustained by the very force that carves the rock. Look closer into the perpetual mist zone that blankets these cliffs. Here, in this humid microclimate, you'll find plants that exist nowhere else on Earth. They are true specialists, their leaves designed to capture moisture directly from the air, clinging to vertical rock faces, where soil is a distant memory. They're children of the mist, born from the waterfall's breath. Their survival depends entirely on this constant spray, a delicate dance between too much water and just enough. It's a vertical rainforest, sustained not by rain from the sky, but by the endless plume rising from the gorge below. Beneath the churning surface, the river tells another story of adaptation. The water here is highly oxygenated, a turbulent environment that would be hostile to most fish. But the species that call this gorge home are different. They are powerful swimmers, with streamlined bodies built to fight the current. Some have developed unique feeding strategies, snatching insects caught in the eddies and whirlpools. Others hug the riverbed, their flattened forms helping them stay anchored against the relentless flow. These fish are athletes of the aquatic world, their entire existence shaped by the powerful currents that have defined their evolution for thousands of years. Life here is a constant struggle, a battle for purchase, for oxygen, for a place in the torrent. High above, on the sheer cliff walls, another community makes its home. Rare birds have found a sanctuary in the seemingly inaccessible ledges and crevices. For them, these vertical precipices are not a barrier, but a fortress. They offer protection from ground-based predators, creating a safe haven for nesting and raising their young. You can see them soaring on the updrafts created by the waterfall, their calls echoing against the stone. They are masters of this vertical world, effortlessly navigating the air currents, diving with breathtaking precision to catch fish from the river below or pluck insects from the air. Each species, from the smallest plant to the largest bird, is a living piece of a complex puzzle. This entire ecosystem, vibrant and unique, owes its existence to the water. It is a world carved, nourished, and defined by the relentless power of the falls. The waterfall has already moved 7 times. The question is not if it will move again, but when. This colossal force of nature, which seems so permanent and unyielding, is in a constant state of flux. It is a slow geological dance between water and rock, a process of creation and destruction playing out over millennia. The hard, resistant caprock you see at the top of the falls protects the softer layers of shale and sandstone beneath it. But water is patient. It finds every crack, every weakness, slowly undercutting the supportive layers. Eventually, the weight of the cap rock becomes too much, and huge sections collapse into the gorge below, causing the waterfall to retreat, to move upstream. We are witnessing a geological event in slow motion, a process that has already carved a gorge over 7 miles long. Scientists are working to understand the speed of this retreat. By studying historical records, geological surveys, and using modern technology, they can estimate the rate of erosion. It's not a steady process. Massive rock falls can cause the falls to jump backward in a matter of hours, while in other periods, the retreat is almost imperceptible. But on average, the falls are marching steadily backward. These predictions are crucial, not just for scientific curiosity, but for understanding the future of the entire region, its infrastructure, and its ecosystems. Every measurement taken, every piece of data collected, helps us build a picture of the waterfall's inevitable journey. This ancient geological process is now facing a new, unpredictable factor: climate change. The rhythm of the seasons is changing. More extreme weather events, from intense rainfall to prolonged droughts, are altering the flow of the river. During the dry season, the volume of water plummeting over the edge can decrease dramatically, reducing the erosive power, but also putting immense stress on the unique ecosystems that depend on the waterfall-less mist. A weaker flow could slow the erosion, but it also threatens the very life that makes this place so special. The balance is incredibly delicate. The future of the falls is now tied not only to the slow grind of geology, but also to the rapid changes in our global climate. So, what does the future hold? Geologists predict that thousands of years from now, the process of erosion will continue, carving its way further and further upstream. It's fascinating to imagine what this landscape will look like. The constant retreat will create what could one day be called the Ninth Gorge. A new chapter in this epic story, written by water. We are living in a single moment of this grand, geological timeline. The waterfall we see today is just a temporary snapshot. As the sun rises, casting its first golden light through the mist, it illuminates not just a place of immense beauty, but a dynamic, living, and moving monument to the unstoppable power of nature. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed learning about the spiritual side of this incredible landmark, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from around the globe. See you